Listeners, we want to appreciate God again for another special time and moment to be with you. We were here with you last week, Saturday, and I promise I'll be back here today. And I made us understand that we are going to be looking at some challenges in marriage or marriages. And most often than not, most of the things we claim to be challenges, we claim that the devil is the one fighting us in our homes, in our marriages. The truth be said, that these are very far from the devil. The devil most times has no hand in most of the things we try to apportion to him. He has no hand on it. There's nothing he's doing about them. But just because there are some basic things we need to understand about relationship, which unfortunately we don't understand, and we are going to be looking at some of them today. See, the issue of marriage is God's will. Like I said last week, that it was God that institutionalized marriage. Marriage is God's concept. God started it all, and God, who started it all, has something in mind. There is something in mind. He had in mind to do. So there's no culture that will just wake up and begin to claim ownership or begin to claim knowledge of the very origin of the relationship between husband and wife as it is. But there are several things that are actually challenging the homes of many people. Many people, virtually everybody, nobody is exempted here. It doesn't matter the religion you belong to, it doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter your social status. This is a problem that many are not aware of the origin of this problem, what causes this problem. So most times they don't even know how to go about it. And because they don't know how to go about it, you see them now trying to, attribute the challenge to one devil somewhere who is trying to fight my relationship, trying to fight the relationship, and begin to run from one prayer house to the other, meeting one minister of the gospel or the other, over one thing or the other. But whereas this shouldn't be, because there are certain things that we need to know. And we're going to begin the storyline today, the narrative today, because we can't end it today, but we're going to start from somewhere. See, most of the challenges people have in their relationship has to do with their background. I repeat, background is very strong when it comes to relationship. When it comes to relationship, background is just a challenge. And if the issue of background can be identified and the issue of background can be resolved, it will go a whole, lot in resolving these challenges people go through in their marriages. And background, what do you mean by background? Background in a way can be looked at from the angle of nurturing and nature. Nature and nurture. These are two different things, and we're going to be looking at them because essentially these two elements or these two factors, or whatever you want to call them, are actually responsible for each individual. Your wife came out from somewhere, your husband came out from somewhere. There's no way your parents-in-laws, for those of us who are married, you don't like them and you will like their daughter, you will like their son. That is not possible. Because it is the way they are, that is what they were able to reproduce or replicate in the life of that child growing up. Nobody fell from the sky. We all grew up from somewhere. And one thing we don't know is that in our growing up, we picked up a lot of things growing up. And those things are the things that are challenging homes today. I used to say that it is the coming together of two backgrounds. Relationship, yes. Because mankind or humanity generally, has a lot to do with conditioning. The way they are made up, the way they are structured, I'm talking about the mental structure, the emotional structure, and others, not the physical now. All of this has to do with our background. Background covers issues like personal history, the person's upbringing, the person's life experiences. These are the things that are out there at the background. And when we come into marriage relationship, we bring all these things into our relationship. We bring them in. We just bring them in. So those things, they have some, in fact, not even they play a lot of the roles. They actually influence things, they control things. So the background will shape the way your partner thinks, the way your partner feels, the way your partner acts in relationship. Yes, I repeat, the way he or she thinks or acts or feels in relationship, all of this is the function of the upbringing. That is why upbringing is a very, very important factor when it comes to the marriage relationship. However, I think at this point I can say this here, this can also be corrected. Yes, this can also be corrected. But then, there are certain things that we need to do the correction. I don't think I'll be able to discuss that today because the time will not be there. So we are looking at the origin. How do these things come about? So all of us came out from somewhere. Somebody was there, stood in for our parents. If our parents are no more, as guardians, whatever you want to call them, and whatever thing they know, whatever thing they did, are the things that will determine who we are, what we turn out to be. And of course, there are cases that they didn't get some things right. In fact, in some cases, they got nothing right because that was how much they knew. Of course, there's no way your parents can do beyond what they know. And these are the things that constitute the background we are talking about here. These are the things that make us not to get some things right. Make us to feel bad at times, make us to know why my husband behaves this way, why my wife behaves this way. So all of this has to do with what our background, our early childhood experiences is very, very important because the first 7 years of every child, that is where the period, the subconscious mind is developed at that period. So it is very, 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 very important that we try to get it right at that particular point. Because if we don't get it right at that particular point, the period of 0 to 1 to 7, depending on the book you are consulting, if we don't get it right at that point in time, that child will definitely turn out to be that. Or are you not surprised that in some cases you see children, growing up and saying, we don't want to be like our parent, and they end up being like their parents? I mean, these are things they detested, they hated, they were so, had a resentment about them. But in the course of time, because these things were programmed into them, you can call it programming, you can call it conditioning. So in the course of growing up, these things were conditioned into us, and in an innocent mind, we were downloading them. And down the road, we see ourselves now manifesting it. So the early childhood experiences, they are very, very important. The parenting style. Imagine a child coming out from a home that is very strict. There was this strict parenting that the parents gave, and the other one comes from a home that had a neglectful parenting. And they are coming together now, as husband and wife. And of course, as they are coming in, they are bringing what they know, what they saw their parents do, what they were taught. And all of them, to the best of their knowledge, think that which they saw is the best. That which they saw is what they are going to replicate, what they are going to continue in their relationship. And here they are now as husband and wife. There will always be conflicts. I mean, there will always be, always. Why? Because the strict background and the neglectful background, there's a problem there. The permissive background and the supportive, even intentional background, all of these are the things that play out in the marriage institution. These things play out there. So when parents are not doing the needful thing, they are raising adults that will be having problems in future. And at this point, I think I should be able to talk to those who are yet to get married, or those who are just young in their marriage. Please. You see, if you don't get it right now with that child God has given to you, or the child you are looking up to God to give to you, if you don't get it right now, those things you you don't want to see in them are the things they are going to be doing. I tell parents that even when the child is not talking, the child is just looking at you. The child is not, you think that he doesn't understand anything. No, that child is downloading. Is downloading because the brain came in, it came in with an empty memory card in his brain, and whatever thing that will be downloaded into that card, into that memory card, is what they see the parents practice. So the things we don't want our children to do, then we should not do it before them. Because children, most often than not, they learn from modeling, what they see their parents do. So all these things, all these parenting styles, they influence how this child will approach love, conflict, and trust. etc. The way this child, the way this wife now, husband, will behave, we will understand the concept of love and conflict and trust and others is dependent on the upbringing. So background is very, very important. It is beyond I had a dream, God showed me this is my wife, or I just feel something for her, or I feel something for him. No, what will sustain the home is beyond that which you are feeling, that which you think. The background has a strong role to play. But like I said, it is not over. Even if we didn't get it right at the beginning stage, it's not to say that cannot be corrected. That can also be corrected. But of course, there's a process to that, which is not what I'm looking at now. So the way our parents brought us up, those are the things that we know, we believe, and those are the things we are going to replicate. So when some marriages are going through some kind of challenges, let's check them out. Most often than not, it is the background that is actually, playing out there. There are certain things that the parents, each parent maybe got right or didn't get right, and those things are now affecting or influencing the relationship of their children. Like I said, children, they learn more from what they see than from what we say to them. I repeat, they learn more from what we see than what we say to them. So if you want them to have a good relationship, their marriage in future, then the things you do, you can't be beating up your wife, for example, or your wife is always abusing you or some kind of thing to you, and the children are all witnessing that, especially the 1 to 7 when their subconscious mind is being developed. They are seeing all of this, they are recording it, and tomorrow they are going to repeat the same thing. Because to them, that's what they saw, and that's what they think that thing they saw is what should be done. So the way parents, guardians, or close relatives, relate, set the template for them, the unconscious template, and some of them will see that as normal. So look at it now. Do you now see that this is beyond that she's a Christian, I'm a Christian, and vice versa? Is supposed to know, I'm supposed to know? No. The background is a factor that we cannot gloss over in relationship, because it must always show. It must always show something, it will always come up that way, in one way or the other. It will always show up that way. So we need to begin to understand these things. So it is not that your wife is deliberately, trying to do that to you, or your husband. It has to do with the background. You have to understand that this is not him. This is his programming. But like I said, the programming can be corrected. That can be fixed. That is not the end of life. That can be fixed. That can be handled. It's just a matter of time. So these things are very, very important. Why is it that she likes doing this? He likes doing this. Look beyond him, look beyond her, and look at where he or she is coming from, and you'll be able to identify where the problem is coming from. This is not something you begin to run around looking for one person to pray for you about. No, this has to do with the kind of resetting the mind, resetting the individual. But then the individual, before the individual can be reset or can be, reprogrammed, the person must first and foremost acknowledge the problem. Because if a problem is not acknowledged, then what are we talking about here? If he sees that as the normal thing, then Nothing anybody can do about that. But there's need for us to see that this is abnormal. If you begin to wonder, I've seen cases, I know of about 2 cases, if I'm not mistaken, even more, where the guy, the husband, finds it difficult to assist the wife, in terms of money for the maintenance of the home and things like that, because his father was not there. So to him, the mother did everything. So he was telling the wife, what are you waiting for? Come on, go ahead and stop bothering me, asking me for money to run the house. No, my father was not there. My mother took care of us and gave us education, fed us, and also why are you not doing the same for your children? Even when he was in a position to help. So you can see how this person is wicked. It was because of the programming. So to him, anytime he thinks of marriage, he thinks of seeing a woman who would behave like the mother. And to him, whatever thing the mother did is like a role model. That is what should be done. That is what should be practiced. That what should be accepted, which is quite unfortunate. Same too with another case. So he was telling the wife to be, say, listen, let me let you know that my mother was a hardworking woman. That. So you have to be hardworking and that. Not wanting to take responsibility. You begin to wonder. So it has to do with the way they were brought up. But like I said, all of this can be addressed. All of this can be fixed. It all depends on the person involved and wanting to put things right in his family, in his relationship, and get the right thing done. Because with our children should not be seeing these things, because when they see these things, I promise you, they are going to repeat it in their home. They will tell their wives or tell their husband to be done. No. This is it. This how it's done. Where do you learn it? Of course, where they came from. So background is one of the challenges people have in their relationship, and this must be addressed and this must be fixed. Why is she so angry? Every time she's angry, is that check out, there's something. Something happened in the course of the growing up of that particular person. That what you are seeing now, the anger and those resentment, those bitterness, they are all what we call the trauma response. That person is responding now to some of these things. They have a way of showing up when you are an adult. They have a way of showing up when you are matured, and you start, in fact, there are times that even the individual will be surprised and be wondering, this behavior of mine, where did I pick it? Where did I get it? Because these things were all downloaded into this person between age 0 to 7. This child was getting these things in. So at times, the individual cannot even track. They can't even place their hands on how they came about the way they are. But it was a program that was put into them when they were not fully conscious, when the subconscious was running the show. And now that they are matured, now that they are grown up, they see things that coming out. Some of these things don't need prayers. I'm not saying prayers are bad, because I'm a pastor, So I'm not saying prayers are bad, but then there's some things that the correction is not something we pray about, but has to do with kind of working, rejigging, something of that sort, the person, reprogramming the person, resetting the person, so that the person will not see, okay, I didn't get it right here, then this is what I should do. Otherwise, the issue of having a good, healthy home will be elusive. We'll start saying, this is what the devil has done. The devil didn't do anything there. It's just the way that person was brought up. But that can be corrected. That can be fixed. And we're so sorry. We want to make this a calling program. We wanted to start today, but along the line, there's one or two technical issues here. But however, for those of us who want to send in WhatsApp messages or text by way of questions, you want to ask us, I'm going to give out this number now. +234 706 724 4287. I repeat, +234 0 in bracket 706 724 4287. Maybe you have a WhatsApp message or whatever, maybe a text, what I want to send to us. That is it. Then for those of us who want to send email, you can send it No call, please. No call, please. Please, there's no call. The email, we have it. We have a family born FROF. Family born FROF at gmail.com. Family born FROF at gmail.com. I promise that when next we are here, the calling number will be made available. Please, I repeat, no call. Nobody should call this number. The number I just gave now is purely for WhatsApp and text messages. Please, no calling. The call number, I can't give that out today because we have some technical issues here which we are going to fix before next Saturday. So please, let's follow that. So that is how powerful background is in a home. And there's a challenge in your relationship, then this may be the problem. The devil didn't jump through the window or through whatever and came in and began to know, especially when both of you know who you are and you know that you serve a living God or whatever. But when these things are not properly addressed or properly corrected, the tendency is that there will be challenges. It can pop up anywhere. But know it that most, I can even say 90-something% of the challenges people are experiencing in their families today, it has to do with the background. Especially family background. The devil percentage, if you ask me, is less than 10%. It's less than 10%. Because there's no way. That's why we encourage parents that please be intentional when bringing up your child. Try to make sure that the right things are done. Teach them well. Don't leave your children for the house help to train, especially the early, that's between age 0 to 7. Because that is where habits, those are the period they form a lot of things. I said it last time, I guess I said that last time and I will say it again. Oftentimes people say, God gave you people good children. God never gave people bad children. God gave every one of us good children. I repeat, all of us, good children, wonderful children. It is the training we gave to those children. The training we gave to them is what has turned them into becoming humans or beasts. It is not that they're saying, no. God gave them to us perfect, innocent, free of all of these things. But what did you do with them? How were you able to influence them? How were you able to train them? How were you able to influence their life, add value to their lives? How were you able to prepare them? Then tomorrow you not start looking for who won that. No. It is not that God did not bless me with good children. No. It is your responsibility, and when you fail in that responsibility, you cannot hold God responsible. It was your fault, you did it, and you should take responsibility for it. However, for those who were victims of these things, because of whatever it was, I have a good news for you. These things can be corrected. You want to know more about us, you want us to do a session for you, or sessions depending on, because we run sessions for those who want to get married. You want to know your spouse better? Yes, we have a premarital thing we do. And I bet you, that thing is like autopilot. By the time you get to know what you should do about yourselves, by the time we are done with the questions we have to ask you, both of you at the same time, you will know whether this marriage will hold or not. Nobody will tell you. And if there are issues that can be corrected, of course, we'll let you know. We do that for those who want to get married. For those who are married, we also run sessions for them. They can come for counseling and other things. Those numbers I gave to you earlier on, the number I gave to you for the WhatsApp, you can send it there. We can talk and see what we can do. We can even do some online. We don't need to meet face to face. Most of what we do most times are online. But if you want to come to the office, there's no problem about that. That can be done. Or you can email us in the address the email address I gave to you earlier on. Then we'll look at it and we'll talk and we'll see how we can help. The purpose of this is that we are out there to see that this thing God has given to us called marriage, we must take responsibility for it and make sure that we get it right and it is well done. Because if you don't know it, you better know now. The marriage fit the society. Our society is the way it is today because of the failure in the marriages or the homes of many married people. Because all those who are in government or shall be in government, they didn't fall from the sky. Somebody somewhere trained them. How they were trained is what we are saying today. So if you want your husband to be this, your wife to be this, then this can be done. And for those of you who are married, you can ensure that your children will not see some of the things. So that's why we need to know these things. And I must say that if we can get these things right in our various homes, then we are going to have a better society. I promise you that. A better society where the word of where people will be responsible, people will live well, live right. Why? Because from the home front, the needful things were done, the right things were done. And not every time we start blaming government over failures of families. Because most time we blame government, it's not government's fault. I'm not defending them here. I know where they get it, where they don't do well. But in terms of training, in terms of the upbringing of members of the society, the family should be held responsible when the right things are not done, and not government. And it is you and I that we do that. So I want to thank God for you. I want to appreciate your listening and being part of what we are trying to do here. But I want to let you know that background can be fixed, it can be corrected, and we can get it right. So it is not over yet. Your marriage can be fixed no matter how long it has been. If only the partners, the parties concerned are ready to do the needful, then you can have a good one so that your children will not come out to repeat the same mistakes that both of you have found yourself in. And those who want to get married need to know these things so that you will not start saying, had I known, that will be too late. God bless you.